Hey folks, let's take a trip back in time. 20 years. We're going to go back to the mall before 2006. Before I get into that, don't forget to back the Kickstarter. Get yourself a limited edition hardback or an ebook. Link is down below in the description. Let's take a look at the mall before 2006. I found this to be such a fascinating little trip down memory lane, and I want to share it with you. I wrote an article about this. You can do this yourself. Go to the YouTube search box, type in mall before :2006, no spaces, and you're going to get a bunch of videos from 19 years ago, 20 years ago. At Somerset Mall, here's some guys walking around the mall. The mall doesn't look too different from how it looks now, which is pretty amazing. If you were to go to someone in 1995 and here's mall in 1975, it would look like a different world. Even though the mall is still there, they would have renovated and changed everything. But now malls are pretty much the same. Here's the Apple Store. It wasn't called the Apple Store back then. It was called the Mac Store because there was no iPhone. But is it really different from the Apple Store now? It's got the same clean counters. You know, the same Apple has the same design language it had 20 years ago. And so one of the things you notice is that we've entered this long increasing period of the present where you have to look really far back in the past to see stuff that's too far different from what we have now. Like, yes, we still have tower PCs. We still have Macs. Macs still look pretty similar to how they look now. They've updated a little bit. You know, we look at the people in the mall video. They don't look all that different. The hairstyles are not all that different. The clothes are not all that different, right? So we get kind of this extending present. Occasionally you find a hairstyle that's just a little bit different. Some clothes that are a little bit different. People sometimes wearing baggy clothes. Another thing you'll notice is that nobody's checking their phone. People are living in the moment. They're not having to worry about their social media followers. They're not worried about shooting a video for their social media followers. They're quite happy to be silly and in the moment. See, this makeup was a thing in the 2000s. To be silly in the moment, there was a novelty to pulling out a camera and filming something for posterity and putting it on the internet and sharing it for other people. And that novelty was exciting all on its own, and you didn't worry about that it was going to be embarrassing for you, or that some troll was going to make fun of you, or some troll was going to send this to your mom or your boyfriend, or that if you said the wrong thing, you might get suspended from school or lose your tuition money or you lose your scholarship at your university or whatever it is. People were not paranoid about what they were saying all the time. What you had with the internet back then was the internet was really an escape from real life. So it was exciting to take a video and put it on the internet. Now the internet is an extension of real life, and really your real life is more on the internet, and the internet is extending its nasty fingers into your real life so that you can get canceled for saying the wrong thing on the internet. People weren't worried about that in 2005. They were just in the moment, having fun, walking through the mall, taking bad. I guess that's the other thing you notice is that the quality of the photography is really bad. People didn't know how to use cameras. The cameras were not good then. Here's some girls dancing, but they weren't worried about somebody making fun of them on the internet for dancing and being, I'm so embarrassed that all my Facebook friends saw this embarrassing dance, or everyone on Twitter is quote tweeting and trolling me and dragging me for daring to turn on the camera and have fun for a few minutes. No one there cares about their followers thinking that it's too dumb a dance or that they're being too silly or they're not being funny enough. Here's another one, right? Here's a guy sliding down a banister and falling down and running away. Was this guy worried about getting arrested for sliding down the banister and hurting himself? The answer is no, he was not worried about it, okay? No one was worried about getting caught at their school the next day. Look, he's just going to fall off the banister here. Whoops, okay, and then run away. And here's the guy busting a hole. Here's a guy busting a hole in the mall wall. Where is it? Right here. Okay. So yeah, if we can get this one without it popping up an ad here. But was he worried about going to jail for doing something stupid on camera for his friends? My friend Seth. Look, you even tell him who it is. That's my friend Seth. My name's Tyler DeYoung. The one in the video decided to run to the wall in front of these people walking and fall down to get a reaction. Well, now he would find himself fired, right, for having a YouTube channel. which happens. There's a guy gets fired from 7-Eleven because he happened to make YouTube videos about working at 7-Eleven. Things like that. The internet follows you home now. So there wasn't this paranoia about it. There was still novelty. There was still excitement about the internet, excitement about cameras, and things were not as different as they were then. The mall, I think what we're looking at is the last frames of a time that's gone, which is the time of the Gen X. Even though you're looking at millennials here on camera, this was the last gasp for that popular culture as well, was things like the mall. Like, this girl doesn't care that she's looking silly. She's just, the camera's on me, I'm going to make a silly face. People don't have that anymore. They don't have this feeling of like, let's just be silly. Let's have fun. Here's some guys with some like baggy pants, right? That's a little bit different, but it's not that different from what we have today. There's still people that I guess wear baggy pants. It's hard to find stuff that's really out there and really different from what we have going on today. I think I used this one for my original article that I wrote. It's just like, this girl is just dancing in front of this light, right? This is not a thing that you would post to social media in 2025, but it was an exciting idea that you could just do a dance and post it on the internet and someone might see it. And you had no idea what you would look like because you can't see the camera and you're not used to shooting yourself on camera. And it's fine. It's great. You're in the moment. You're having a good life and a good time. That kind of stuff starts to disappear not too long after this. So what have we lost? We've lost that living in the moment. And instead, we're living in the pupil of 1,000 eyes. We're paranoid about people filming us. We're paranoid about people taking pictures of us. We are constantly checking our phone to make sure we're engaging with our followers. I know for me, this is a double-edged sword, because if it weren't for social media, I would not be able to have my business. I would have to go through the old way of publishing books, which would be to get an agent that's going to take a big portion of my money, who's going to talk to somebody at a publisher, and maybe I get a book published after I edit it into a nice PC garbled hunk of mess, or maybe never get it published because the audience is too small, which is what I discovered very early on with Muramasa and things like that, right? I wouldn't be able to sell to a niche market. I wouldn't be able to reach people who want something different from what the big publishers are offering. I just wouldn't be able to do it. And I wouldn't be able to have a YouTube channel. I wouldn't be able to do any of the stuff that I do without social media. But the back edge of that is that I know that I'm too plugged into it, right? I know that I interact too much with it. And I always feel like I'm actually behind interacting with people. Like, I have a Discord that you can join if you're a part of the Patreon network or you're a member on YouTube or Substack, right? You can join the Discord, but a lot of times I can't get on the Discord, right? I took it off my phone because it was too distracting. But then I never sit down on my computer because I have too many other obligations. And then, am I interacting enough with the people who are supporting me? Am I giving them enough of me to justify the money, even though I try to give a free book every month as well, right? Am I not doing enough? Am I not engaging enough? Am I not pulling enough people into the sales funnel to back my Kickstarter? Have you backed the King Leopard Kickstarter yet? Get yourself a limited edition hardback, right? So I'm able to do that stuff, but the double-edged sword is that it's really omnipresent in my life. And I know even people who don't have a big following, it's very omnipresent in their life. They're worried about what people are saying about them on Facebook. They're constantly checking Facebook, or I think Facebook is maybe less popular now. Let's say Instagram or TikTok, right? They're just losing time scrolling TikToks, or they're on Twitter trolling people, right? They're doing things that just eat up a bunch of time. Whereas in 2005, I remember I had a cell phone. That cell phone was used for making calls, right? It wasn't used for doing this kind of stuff. It wasn't used for making serious content, very serious. It wasn't used for any of that stuff, right? It was just used to make calls to my friends. I didn't even get a lot of robocalls back then. Now it's like I can't even answer my phone. So these people just didn't care that the camera was on him. He kind of cared, right? He's like, oh, I'm embarrassed. But the people are just happy, having a good time. There's not this feeling like there's 1,000 eyes watching me and I need to check my phone. Did I get enough likes? All this kind of stuff. It becomes overwhelming with modern social media. So I thought I'd share this. You can take a little trip back in time and see just what people were doing and what they looked like and what they thought was fun to do. You notice most of the people making these videos are young because they were early on the tech. The older people were not that interested in putting something on the internet. You'd be like, did you know you can put your videos on the internet with YouTube? And people are like, oh, well, that's interesting. Why would you do that? It's mostly young people that get interested in the technology here. So anyway, leave me your thoughts down below. I'd love to know them. I will also link an article that I wrote about this, which goes into a little more depth with some of the ideas that I have here. But I think it's fun to just see people, to just see what people were like. What did people look? Here's a sideways video. Now this would be really good because you just flip it vertically, and it's a TikTok, right? 160 views in 19 years. No one cared or thought that this would be a big deal. It was just exciting to put something on the internet back then. That's all. It was just a fun thing. I'd love to know your opinions about when things really changed, because I feel like malls went away after Obama because there was that big crash. A bunch of malls that I know closed. Malls as a cultural force were really a Gen X thing. And this is the last gasp of the malls before malls disappeared forever. So the idea that you would just go and hang out and be disconnected and not be on your phone, that's just a foreign world. It's just a totally foreign world. So you're looking at a different culture, a different time, a different country, really. The future is an undiscovered country. The past is a foreign country, and we're looking at a foreign country here. Very interesting to think about, I think. Anyway, leave me your thoughts down below, and I will check you all next time. And don't forget to back the Kickstarter. Get yourself a limited edition hardback. I'm thinking about making it blue. So like the Kickstarter version will be blue, and if you buy it on Amazon later, which, hey, no rush. If you don't want to buy it now, it'll come out on Amazon. You can buy the ebook on Amazon, or you can buy the hardback on Amazon too. But I'll make that one green, and I'll make this special one a different color. But leave me your thoughts on that too, and I'll check you all next time. Have a great one.